Hello, everybody. We are back for another episode of Tim and Maggie Talk Movies. So I am Tim. This
I'm
is
Maggie.
yes, Maggie with her signature hand wave. And today we will be discussing that new Avengers Endgame trailer, which dropped this morning, which I woke up to with many alerts and messages. And then we'll also dig into some Captain Marvel spoilers because there's some things with the trailer that I want to talk about that have to do with the movie, and we haven't really talked about the movie other than my main review yet, which if you haven't seen, you can see it here on this YouTube channel, Tim Loves Movies. But we've got a guest with us today. His name is Robert Parker. Robert, how are you doing?
I'm very excited to be here today. No, I'm really happy to be here. It's been a hot minute since I've been on Tim Loves Movies, but I am always happy to be here. I, of course, if you didn't recognize by the last name, am Maggie's brother. I'm the cool one. She's the smart one. That's kind of how it works. But yeah, I'm here to talk Captain Marvel. Did you just flip me off? I think you did.
No, I motioned to my
Oh, I thought you flipped me off. I am here to discuss Captain Marvel and Endgame. Endgame might be the most anticipated I've ever been for a movie in my entire life. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about. Are you making fun of my facial? We can definitely talk about that in the sense that, yeah, this is a movie that a lot of people are anticipating. And when you say to yourself, okay, we're getting Avengers Endgame and Star Wars Episode 9. I never, in the same year, I never thought to myself that I'd be more excited for Avengers because I am such a Star Wars fan. But yeah, no, I'm more excited for Endgame. And I wouldn't say that it's the most excited I've ever been for a movie. I think the hype for Force Awakens
that's what I was say.
I think Infinity War might actually have most anticipated for me. A
little
bit over Endgame.
It's close. I definitely think I was more hyped for Infinity War than Last Jedi, yeah. But I was more hyped for Infinity War than I am for Endgame currently, and I think that's mostly because it was a lot of unknown. And don't get me wrong, we're gonna get into it. There's a lot of unknown about Endgame based on this trailer alone. But we know, we more or less know the Avengers are going to do this and Thanos is going to lose but we didn't know that with the first one. It was kind of like, okay, Avengers 4 is coming a year later. What's going to happen in this movie? There's all these heroes, blah, 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 blah. We just didn't know. Mm-hmm. I feel like even though I know nothing about Endgame, I know more. It's kind of weird. Whereas, again, with The Force Awakens, you knew Jack going into that movie. You knew that Han Solo was in it, but Luke wasn't in the marketing. You saw Kylo Ren being all cool with a lightsaber, and I was really excited. But anyway, getting past that, we're not here to talk about Star Wars. We're here to talk about Avengers and the MCU. Right off the bat, Robert, what'd you think about this trailer for Endgame?
I liked it. I like that they don't tell me anything. I don't want to know anything until I sit down opening night and watch it.
Well,
it builds hype without revealing anything, without revealing action moments, without revealing many. There's only one comedic moment in the whole trailer. I like that it reveals nothing at all.
Okay, Maggie, do you have a rebuttal or do you have your overall thought?
I have a rebuttal.
Okay, let's hear it.
No, it's just that not the whole point, but something that a lot of people latched onto with the first trailer was the fact that Tony was stuck in space, and that was his thing, is that him and Nebula were stuck in space and they had to die there. And at the end of this trailer, him and Nebula are with all of the Avengers on Earth. So.
Okay. Well,
that's a fair point.
You are jumping ahead, my love. But anyway,
that's
your overall impression of the trailer is
pretty good.
That you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't think about until you said it earlier how it is really similar to that first Infinity War trailer with the talking over and the footage. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it was fine.
Yeah, I liked this trailer. I liked the first one better.
I agree.
I think that I think that I didn't need this trailer. I feel like I needed. Basically, what I said in my Stardust reaction was that I thought the trailer was a good trailer, but at this point, I personally would have liked to see more new footage, and I felt like what they decided to show in this was granted cool, but it was nothing that is selling me on the movie more. Whereas the first trailer for Infinity War, I was like, yes, this is great. I love it. I kind of get a taste of what the movie is now. And then the second trailer up the ante even more, where I see Iron Spider, and that, as a big Spider-Man fan, really draws me in. There were a lot of things about that second trailer that made me even more hyped. This one didn't really do that. It showed me stuff that I thought was cool, like Captain America being a badass, and I always love that. I'm always game for that. But it didn't do anything that made me like say, okay, now the hype is like to another level. If I'm being honest, the poster that was released today actually did a little more for me than the trailer did. But again, that's not to say that it's a bad trailer. It's just not what I personally wanted from it. But that's just my own thing. I think the thing, if we're dissecting this trailer from beginning to end, I like that when they do show the old footage from the old movies, it's the main three. They do show a little bit of Widow and Hawkeye. No?
It's current. It's new.
It's the current stuff with them. Okay.
Yeah.
But the old stuff of Tony, Cap, and Thor, it's all from their first movies, which I think is a nice touch because they easily could have thrown in something from Ragnarok or Winter Soldier, movies that are genuinely better. But they decided to stick to those first movies, which I think is a nice touch.
I think that footage is going to come in more than you think, and I think that it was really significant that they did that. I mean, because the timeline's going to go away. So.
Oof. I hope that.
What's up with the red, too?
Yeah. What's up, Rob?
I have a slight theory on the red, and it's probably way off, but, like, I think that has something to do with the Reality Stone. I don't know what, and I don't know why, but I think the red tint has something to do with the Reality Stone.
Yeah, but the Reality Stone only changes things in like your immediate like I can make this fake thing right here for your reality.
Yeah,
it doesn't kind of like shade your eyes, but you're still in the present. But I do think you're onto something because I thought the same thing. Where like red is obviously the Reality Stone, and are they going back in time and changing the reality of everything that we've known? I think that is a good assumption that because like let's be honest, they're gonna fucking time travel in this thing.
Yeah.
Like is anybody doubting that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. The only other thing that they could be doing if it wasn't time travel would be like heavily going in quantum realm route, which they could do both. They could do both. I would prefer quantum realm, like, oh, they didn't get dusted, they're all trapped in the quantum realm. Like, I would prefer that over, like, oh, let's go back in time, like, 11 years and change.
I couldn't agree more.
I think they will, and I have full faith in the screenwriters and the Russo brothers. Like, I have full faith in the Marvel team that no matter what they do, I think I will like it. But I am a little bit hesitant going down the time travel route. I
100% agree, and I never thought that I would think that because, like, well, that's not true. I don't know. Like, there were leaked images of them on set, and it was Ant-Man and Tony, and they're in New York, and there's rubble everywhere, and Cap is there in his Avengers 1 uniform. And so to me, that meant, okay, we're going back in time. But then when you kind of put the pieces together, all three of those characters weren't dusted. And in the trailer, we never see Cap in that Avengers 1 uniform.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, maybe that was something we're just not really like.
Well, there were also set photos. I don't remember if it was the same set. Like, I don't remember if it was the same release of them, but there were other set photos, I think also with Cap in his Avengers 1 outfit, but everybody who was there was wearing the barf device from Civil War.
What?
So, remember when Tony was presenting at MIT in Civil War?
Oh!
Everybody was wearing that device.
Oh! I like that.
So that might come in somewhere. I don't remember, like, the details of that, but I remember there being set release photos where everybody's wearing that device, so it could be just like augmentation, like hologram stuff.
Yeah, no, I'd be into that if they do something where they're like using technology to go back and look at something a little closer.
Something they missed, exactly. Like go back, like what did we miss?
They go back and they're walking through something that I like. That is actually
so like, oh, what happened? What actually happened to the Tesseract? Let's like go hack our minds, or not, but not to start. Just that as an example, like going back to those old movies, to those old timelines, to those old stories, and finding something that they didn't like, that was Easter egg, that was foreshadowed at, that they didn't figure out in time.
And Maggie just said, but they would still have to go back in time. Not necessarily, because if they're literally just looking at like something that where they can like, they're just looking for something to like poke at Thanos to be like, oh, how did he do this? So we can.
Yeah.
Some people are going to have to come back to life, and I don't think you can reverse snap. Like,
I think quantum realm. That doesn't
make any sense. This quantum realm theory that you have.
Why doesn't it make sense?
Why doesn't it? Yeah.
Went into the quantum realm.
Say it again.
Hypothetically, that she's saying, are you saying they just go into the quantum realm?
Yeah, potentially.
I don't think.
Gamora is sitting in the Soul Stone doing nothing. Why is it so crazy that they went into the quantum realm?
It's more magic, I think, than it is science. And the quantum realm is science. And in each movie, when they go into the quantum realm, it is a very sciencey thing.
I don't disagree with you. Okay. Well, okay, so we're definitely going down like an Avengers 4 like theory thing instead of like the trailer, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But before we get back onto the trailer, Doctor Strange's like other worlds and stuff like that.
Yeah, 14,605,000.
Quantum realmy, correct?
I think that's just like, I don't know if it's quantum realmy. I don't know if it's just like, it's just there were that many outcomes
visually
of, like, different things.
Visually, they are very similar.
Oh wait, are you saying like the world that he goes into?
Oh, when he's seeing the future?
Not the mirror thing. I'm saying the thing like so.
When he's sitting there meditating on Titan and seeing the future.
No. I'm talking about in the movie Doctor Strange when the Ancient One is teaching him and he's like floating through all that shit and everything.
Oh, sure,
and space and time and everything. It looks it visually is very similar to quantum realm stuff.
But again,
if that scene looks a hell of a lot like Scott's journey through the quantum realm at the end of Ant-Man. That's
what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making, is that I could see how and the thing is, Maggie, like right now, I don't disagree with you and I don't agree with him or vice versa. But what I'm saying is that there would be a very with 2 lines of dialogue, they could explain to us how it is quantum realm.
Yeah.
And we'd be like,
we'd buy it. Yeah.
Of course. So anyway, getting back on track with the trailer. Favorite moments of the trailer? Anybody?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say the Captain Marvel Thor meetup.
Okay.
I mainly because that's like the only part of the movie they actually showed us. But I liked that interaction. I really wanted her to catch Stormbreaker, and I think she will.
Oh, me too. I do too. So that was a point I was gonna make. Was that okay? This is where we kind of get into spoiler territory for Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Captain Marvel and you don't want it spoiled for you, then tune out. But at the same time, this isn't necessarily a spoiler of key plot points. It's more so just something that involves how she gets her powers and her involvement with wars. To that point, now spoiler, we can talk about Captain Marvel. Her powers come from the Tesseract.
Yeah.
We learn that in the movie. So if Vision can hold Mjolnir because of his stone, she can 100%.
Oh, she absolutely can.
Dude, was that the axe?
Yeah, at the end of it.
Yeah. Mjolnir got destroyed in Ragnarok.
Right.
For some
reason I thought it was the hammer, and then that just clicked with me that like that's not a thing anymore.
Stormbreaker.
Never mind.
Little on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, so she 100% I think could, and they might play that joke, which I think would be funny because it worked really well in Age of Ultron with
Hey,
Visions.
let's dial it back to 2015, 4 years ago, when we were all watching Age of Ultron in theaters, and Vision goes, what's his line? He goes like, I don't, maybe I am a monster. I don't think I'd know if I were one. But something about
Like,
we need to stop Ultron and we need to go. And he lifts the hammer up. Everybody in that theater was just like, oh, fucking hell. Like, everybody.
Yeah, I think it could happen.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
so Captain Marvel scene. Maggie, what about you?
I don't know. I liked the cat footage with the Peggy voiceover, and when
Yeah.
they cut to him carrying her coffin, and he was all crying, and then. But I also.
You know what movie that's from, Robert?
Captain America Civil War. It's
I
about 15 minutes away, my friend.
I did also like, as irritated as I was that they put Tony in, like they showed us Tony and Nebula with the rest of them. I think that their suits are kind of ugly, but that's not the point. Them all walking together with the theme, and I was like, oh, it's happening, it's happening,
it's going down.
Yep.
I actually like. I wouldn't say I have a favorite moment from the trailer, but I really like seeing Hawkeye with his kid, teaching the kid how to.
And how to shoot that
5 minutes later, or not even 5 minutes later, 30 seconds later, in that scene, she dissolves. It'll be great.
But I like that.
With a really cool mohawk, yeah.
Yeah, he gets a
haircut.
Okay, Hawkeye's cool, guys.
I like Hawkeye.
Now we do need to talk about the most controversial part of this trailer. And when I say controversial, I mean it sent the internet and my wife into a frenzy.
Her hair.
What is going on with Black Widow's hair?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's what I'm thinking.
She's changed it every single. To be fair, it's been different in every single movie she's been in.
No.
Yes, it has.
Yes.
No, I know, but that's not the point. The point is, in the previous trailer, her hair was blonde. In the spoiler for Captain Marvel scene at the end of Captain Marvel, her hair is short and blonde. Now it's long, and
this movie takes place over many moons.
Right, which is what I'm wondering if that's the case. But it's also like a color red that we've never seen, or like it's an ugly artificial red. So I don't understand.
Honestly, I think it's probably more like she dyed her hair blonde when they were on the run, and now she's.
But then the scene where she was shooting the gun, her hair was still blonde. But
so maybe the scene where they're walking in the white suits, maybe that takes place in the past, but when her hair was still orange or red.
When she had all the scenes with Hawkeye, her hair was red and long.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay.
Very controversial stuff. I'm sure we will figure out the truth behind. I am going to talk about, though, my most disappointing thing with this trailer, and I've got to be honest. I'm very sad that there's no Thanos in this trailer. And I like the fact that in the first trailer you just see his hand, you see the Jesus. No, I know it's not Jesus. I know it's a scarecrow. I get it. Don't get mad at me. I get that it's I liked the little glimpses of him, but like just to know like, yo, that motherfucker's still out there. They don't even mention him in this trailer.
Well,
like he's not even brought up once, and so is that shot?
What if they go back in time and kill him as a baby, though?
Like a Deadpool Hitler situation?
Yeah. No, I was more thinking Teen Titans go kill Aquaman. But
they killed all of the babies.
Yeah, they literally killed all of them.
They murdered the Justice League as children. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that shot where Nebula like freaks out and like runs at something like, or with the cap with the shield and is he fighting Thanos?
Fighting Thanos, maybe, yeah.
I feel like I don't know what else they would be fighting. Like in the first movie, he like had his whatever people, and they like had a little army. But
the Black Order.
The Black Order, yeah.
At this point, you would think that he knows that they're gonna come after him, but at the same time, I feel like he doesn't care.
Yeah, so retired.
Planning like a defensive attack. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Because in every Avengers movie,
I don't know.
He does. Let's be real though. I don't think he needs a defensive attack because, like, okay, this was actually part of my problem. Like, I love Infinity War to death; it's my favorite MCU movie. But like, I think he really underused the gauntlet. Like, if Thanos wanted to pre-snap, like when he only had, say, 2 Infinity Stones, he could just like single-handedly take on the entire Avengers, like the entire extended Avengers. Like he could 20v1 and he could win with 2 Infinity Stones.
We don't even know if he has the gauntlet or if it works anymore because it got all melty.
Yeah, it got melty, but like Eitri is still alive, and maybe he had to make 2 of them, like for good measure.
So he's just gonna pull the stones off of the one and put them on the other one.
Yeah, well, the stones weren't damaged. The stones weren't damaged.
I do like and want to touch on what you said though, that in an Avengers movie you do have the faceless army, right. And unfortunately, it is. I think a lot of people complained with Ultron because the Ultron bots, them fighting the bots at the end of the movie, it was ridiculously similar to the first movie. Whereas in Infinity War, you had the dogs, Space
dogs.
You had that whole fight while the Titan fight was going on. So they kind of like they counter.
There were no group shots really.
No, not really. They countered each other. What is kind of, if there's all of these, unless it literally comes down to like everyone's dead and it's literally just Cap v Thanos,
then Thanos destroys him. Thanos uses the Space Stone to crush his skull. That's what should happen in that situation.
Does he have
well, I guess
because there are people that I've talked to that have said, okay, I am not well versed in the comics. I know base knowledge that I have done my research on. I've read Infinity War or like the Infinity Gauntlet storyline once many years ago.
How does it end?
It ends with the Scarecrow. With the Scarecrow stuff.
Oh, that's it?
Well, I mean, there's other stuff, but I didn't get that far.
Oh.
But so my point is that I don't remember where I was going with it. Thanks.
Does he have a working gauntlet?
I'm sorry. People have told me that the stones are destroyed. That's what they've said, that when he snapped, disintegrated the glove and the stones are destroyed. I don't know how accurate that is, but that is something I have heard, and that would make it easier for the Avengers to kill.
Yeah, I mean, the boxing match between Thanos and Hulk was one of the best parts at the start of Infinity War, but even then Thanos still had 1 stone. He didn't use it, like he didn't close the fist to use it at all. But like even by himself, like he still has the Jesus armor, and like I don't think the stones are destroyed, because if the stones are destroyed, how do they time travel? If the stones are destroyed, like I don't see.
If the stones are destroyed too, like he wouldn't be looking at Gamora in the Soul Stone.
Yeah, like
but he just like there.
He will.
Yeah.
I don't think the stones are destroyed. I don't think Infinity War, with how much like that entire movie was him collecting stones. I don't think you can end that movie after such buildup of him getting the stones for 21 movies, and then on this one, oh, they're gone. Now it's just going to be a fist fight between Cap and whatever.
Yeah. I feel like that.
I don't think that's going to happen.
That either, just because. You know, they are so powerful, so using them like that, I could understand how that would result in them being destroyed, like their energy each collectively destroying each other. And
I think that'd be lame. Like, I think it could happen to be lame.
Let me finish what I'm saying. And also, like, that was Thanos' one goal. So it's not like he needs them anymore. Like I was saying before, like, I really don't think he cares if someone's going to come and try to stop him anymore, because he doesn't have anything else to do. So
I think if they come for him, though, he's going to fight back.
Well, of course, but I'm just saying that he doesn't, because of his brute strength and his brain, like, he doesn't necessarily,
Nothing, I just think I should rename this video Parker v. Parker.
we're not debating or anything.
No, I know. I think that we have gone down a completely different topic than what we originally intended, which is good. I like it. All in the end, I think what we can say is that they're going to put out this movie. They wrapped picture last week, so it's done. The movie's done. It's in the can. They're good to go. They're going to start showing it to people.
So much better than Peter, guys. They're on it.
Oh yeah, they are on it. They've got it down. So the movie's in the can. It's going to start screening probably in the next 4 weeks. I'd say in 4 weeks we'll get early Twitter reactions. and then the Rotten Tomatoes score will go live maybe 3 to 4 days before the movie comes out, and which is around the time we'll be seeing it. So I think that in the end, the movie will come out, and we're either going to like it or we won't.
I enjoy liking it.
It's either going to be a massive accomplishment, or it will be a
Super
minor.
underwhelming. Yeah.
I don't see it being underwhelming, but I definitely see it going. Go ahead.
No, please. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I could see it going in. Any movie can. It's very hard to make a good movie, and so, in a world where they've made so many good ones, I could see this being a not so great one. I don't anticipate that happening, because the stakes are this way. But we also have to remember there's a lot of people out there that don't like Infinity War. Believe it or not, Infinity War has like a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
We're also freaks. We're like really invested in it, and like even though it might not be a great movie, and that people like. Never mind.
Don't get me wrong.
It may not be like.
I was gonna name a person, but then I decided not to. They're just not gonna like it because they don't either like superhero movies.
Ben Bates?
That's what I was gonna say too.
Or they don't
name him.
Or they don't like Marvel. And like that's just like the thing is like
people
people love Last Jedi, and I think they're crazy.
Is that like I am a Marvel slut. Like I will fully admit that. Like I defend a lot of bad things. Like Avengers Age of Ultron is not a very like well-made movie. I love the shit out of that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Like there are so many Marvel movies that like really not like perfect cinema. But like because we are so in like Megan was saying, because we're so invested in the story, we're so invested in the characters, because we love this story so much, we will be cool with whatever it is. The reason I think Endgame might be just a little bit underwhelming is because we know what's going to come after. We know Spider-Man Far From Home is coming. Sure. We know that there was the potential for Guardians 3 coming down the line.
Black Panther 2.
Black Panther 2. Doctor Strange. We know that there are things in the pipeline still. And like I understand that they have to like market these things like as a business, like you have to do that. But also it means that the story of Endgame doesn't have as high of stakes as something like Infinity War did.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think unless that is something that's going to happen, we're going to walk into Endgame knowing, well, Spider-Man's going to be back. But at the same time, if it's really, really good, we probably won't care.
Well, right, and I'm not worried about it.
That's true.
I would really just like to, like, we're all just trying to predict how it's going to happen. I would kind of just like to be surprised.
100%, because I went into Infinity War going, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Yeah. And I just, as much as I'm like, they're going to time travel. This is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. I would like that. And I have complete faith in the Russo brothers in this screenwriter.
Yeah,
I mean they have done nothing to dissuade that faith, except for the movie you hate, Civil War.
I don't hate.
You stole it right from me.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of Marvel movies that aren't perfect cinema, but that we enjoy and that apparently the internet is freaking out over. Captain Marvel. Let's talk about Captain Marvel, because Robert, we haven't talked about the movie. We texted a little bit after you saw it. I have now seen the film 4 times.
I think Robert is one of those people on the internet who doesn't like it, though.
No, I give it a 4 out of 5. I like that movie a lot.
Oh, okay.
I have now seen the movie 4 times. Maggie, you've seen it 3 times. Robert, you've only seen it once.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get your overall thoughts. You said you really liked it.
I did like it. I left with some questions, and I did some looking, and I got some of those questions answered. As a whole, I like a lot of the characters. I think Ben Mendelsohn is fucking amazing in that movie. Like, fucking amazing. The twist I saw coming, like, from minute 10.
Oh, really?
I
didn't either.
I saw it coming from, like, minute 10. Like, I feel like Marvel's... Are we spoilering?
Yes, we're full spoilers.
Okay, I knew Jude Law was going to be a bad guy from the second that their fight on in the Kree homeworld ended. at the
agree
beginning of
with
the
that.
movie. I knew that was going to happen.
I knew that he was going to end up being a dick somehow.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to lead into her being against. Now she doesn't have anybody. She doesn't have the Kree. She obviously wouldn't have the Skrulls because they're her enemies. And that's what teams her up with Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
And the Earth people. And then somehow she would get taken out to not be able to come back until Endgame. That's how I thought it was going to go. So I 100% agree with you there with Jude Law, but the Skrull twist.
Oh, I didn't. That's not the twist. I was talking about the Jude Law being a villain twist.
Oh, that was clear.
That I saw. The Skrulls actually being good guys, that caught me. That was very, very well done.
Well, but then I watched it again. Like it was really clear once you knew it. Like in the beginning. But
even
obviously,
though they kidnap and kind of torture her a little bit, but
they weren't torturing her.
No, they just go into her memories. Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's true.
Infiltrate her mind.
Well, and just the way they
do.
What happens and like the part on Torfa when the lady is about to shoot.
Good for you.
The lady is about to shoot the one of the things that she thinks is she thinks that they're the
the natives.
No, she doesn't.
She thinks they're Skrulls.
No, she thinks.
Oh, she thinks. Yeah.
She thinks they're refugees or whatever, and she's about to pull the trigger, and the one guy who we find out in 2 seconds later is a Skrull is like, no, they're just hungry, and they're refugees. Like when we saw that the second time, I was like, that's their whole thing is that they've been
that they're
that's what they are now because of the way that the Kree treated them, and from that moment you were like, okay.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was overall for Captain Marvel, I thought it was a little bit slow until she got to Earth. Once she got to Earth, I loved pretty much every second of it. I mean, there were a couple pockets here and there, but I wasn't super on board. I think it was a little bit, upon rewatch that might change, but I think the first, however long that is, 20, 30 minutes, is a little bit too mysterious. And I didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
But again, now that I know that, going into that, if I rewatch it might be different.
I think you would, because the first time I loved the stuff on the Kree homeworld. I can't remember Hala. Thank you.
Yeah.
On Hala, I liked all that. I liked their mission, the kind of undercover assassin almost type.
Yeah.
And the shot of them swimming underwater, then them coming up out of the water. Loved that. Thought that was all really cool. I do agree that when it was the initial Ben Mendelsohn knocks her out, then okay, open her up or whatever, and they start doing all of the stuff in her brain. No idea what the fuck was going on.
Well,
that is the point. I agree. So I agree with Robert in the sense that it's a little too mysterious where you're not really sure what's happening. And that is the point. But upon rewatch, and once you know, it moved a lot faster for me. And honestly, my biggest lull of the movie is actually the most revealing part, which is the part where you do find out that the Kree are a bunch of fucking assholes. We knew
the black box scene.
Yeah, the whole black box stuff. I enjoyed that scene, but every movie has a shit. I gotta pee. I'm gonna get up and go to the bathroom scene. And to me,
that's the scene that you picked.
No, not the exact scene where you're they're listening to the black box, but where she's talking to the neighbor in the door, and then he's drinking
when she's telling the story to her friend.
And that whole thing.
I get you.
Either that or right after the black box when she's I don't even know who I am. And you are Carol Danvers. I could do without that scene. It's a good. You like that scene? That's fine. Did it empower you as a woman?
Is that because you're a woman? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was rude.
Yeah, but overall, this movie's really close to being in the top 10, but I don't think it quite gets there. It's really close.
It's my number 13 of the MCU.
Yeah, right now I think I put it originally at number 8, and then I was that's way too high. So I moved it around a little bit, and then I realized that I had Black Panther over Doctor Strange, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I started moving stuff around again. So
is that because you're a racist?
No,
I'm not gonna get invited back on this show at this rate.
But Yeah, no, I liked the movie a lot.
I've liked it
Yeah, me too.
more each time that I've watched it.
With the star of Room.
Yes. Yeah. I will say that people have complained online that she's not that good in the movie.
I disagree.
Do we want to touch on that?
I
I think
mean,
she's great.
I get what they're saying with her being like one note or whatever, but like, which Avengers hero isn't like that? At least in their first movie.
Sure.
Like, I feel like Tony was kind of an asshole the whole time in Iron Man. Like, that was the point, and Thor was like this big-headed like idiot, like the whole
Until
movie.
the end.
But that's the point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one of the biggest, I think.
And Scott was the same in his entire movie the whole time. Like, they all have pretty much the same personality. And there is, like, some arc. Like, she has an arc. But, like, her personality is the same. And I honestly, like, you guys might not like this, but, like, she's really sassy. And I don't think people like it because she's a woman.
I loved it. That was my favorite part about her character. When the Skrull, like, screams at her and she goes, ah, or whatever.
Yeah.
Love that.
But I'm just saying,
No,
internet, I don't think they like it because she's not a man quipping with another man. She's a woman quipping with a man.
Which
actually,
her own.
One of my favorite moments with her is when she has the lunchbox and it opens up and he goes,
and she smiles.
Nice diversion. And he goes, she's like, I could have sworn I put it in there. I was like, I really like that. Like, her quippiness, I did like. I just felt like it wasn't there consistently enough.
Yeah, it was.
When it was there, I enjoyed it. Like, it was my favorite part about her character.
Like that when she was on Kree, like she was like laughing at Jude Law in the very beginning.
I know,
like,
but I'm saying
your emotions.
There's a large chunk of the movie where she is being deadly serious.
After,
go ahead.
Yeah. I think she stops being like that quippy once she starts her road trip with Sam Jackson, because she is in the phone booth when SHIELD first comes up to talk to her. She's like, "Oh, this alien person, they went that way." Like, she is so quippy, but once that first Skrull attack on Earth happens, I think she drops that really until like. For a while, she drops that.
She's there with Sam Jackson because she asked him, "Tell me something that no one or that would be
true." When she interviews him in the bar, yeah.
Again, I think, and again, this could just be me being stupid and nitpicky because I did genuinely really like the movie. I think I liked it more than a lot of people. Just her being like. Tony quips in every scene he's in.
Yeah.
No matter the movie. Even to the point where if you're gonna drop another moon on me, I'm gonna lose it. So like he's even quipping when the entire galaxy is falling apart. And like she like it wasn't every scene. And maybe that was on purpose because they didn't want to just make it joke.
Well, yeah.
But I just like I loved her quippiness. I just wanted to see more of it. That's all.
Yeah.
I think there were just parts where she was serious because she was like thinking about the mission or whatever, or like when she was realizing who she was. I think that was a serious moment for her.
100%.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. Like when she is there, like when we are her learning about her future, like when the audience is connecting with her and exposition is happening. And like we're learning more about how she was Carol Danvers in this picture, and she's on the phone with Jude Law about how like shit. I think I had a life here. Like that obviously like when it's to advance her character and advance the story, she drops it. But I think like in action set pieces, in other moments when like the story doesn't need her to be like super down to earth, for lack of a better term, she is.
Sure. Let's move into a subject of this movie that is honestly the most divisive. And honestly, the part of the movie that
the kitty.
Oh.
Let me make my setups, please. Goose. What a cool name for a cool cat. What do we think of Goose?
I like it.
I love Goose.
Goose is cool.
Has he died? Where is he? What's going on?
What was he, a Flurgan or something like that? Flurgan, yeah. My
is
favorite one
with a G or K?
Flurgin, Flergin, Flurgin.
That's what I
say. What the flurk?
Oh, Flurkin.
I'm gonna
Yeah, look it up. I don't know.
Keep talking about
While
Goose.
Tim's looking it up, I'm gonna say my favorite line in the entire movie is from Samuel Jackson. It's, "I'll give you $50 right now if you turn into a fleeing flytrap."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Ben Mendelsohn definitely was the best
Ben Mendelsohn killed it. I
And-
loved him.
that I've ever liked him in. For the record.
Really?
Maggie was correct. It is with a K. Flurken.
Flurken.
Goose.
Flerken.
Correct.
Okay.
I liked Goose a lot, and I knew that something was fishy about Goose because of just comic stuff that I've
everyone
known.
knew that because Roca was all like, "Well, the cat's not really a cat." After the first movie dropped, and we were like,
You mean everyone, like all of the people who watch Collider? Then
"Right, well,
the cat will be a surprise to my father when I watch the movie with him
right,
this week.
that's true."
Like he'll be like, "Oh, the cat's a squirrel." I'll be like, "Yeah, yes." But anyway, yeah, that was one of my favorite moments of the movie, though, when he like grabs him and was like, "Go!" Yeah, and then he falls down and then, "Come on, Goose, pick a side." That was one of my favorite moments too. And that leads right into Sam Jackson too, which I think is
He was really good.
Great.
fire in this movie.
I think this is my favorite Sam Jackson performance and moments in the entire MCU. Yeah.
Well, he got to do more things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that
Other
exactly.
It's just like Nick Fury, and he has to be like this serious guy who like knows all the and has all these secrets.
He's
And
got a
this
lot
is-
of stuff to do in other movies too. Not as much as this, but there are other movies when he's given a
And,
lot
like
to
as
do.
a character, he's not burdened the way that he's burdened in the other movies
I would agree with that.
with like knowledge. Like
He's
like,
not the
talk
only
about
one
Thanos or
burdened
anything.
with knowledge.
Burdened with glorious purpose. Are we going Loki here?
But overall, what do we think about the Tesseract and that whole situation?
So this is one of the things. This is one of the things that I had to look into because I left with a lot of questions. My biggest question of the entire movie was how the hell did Annette Bening, Marvel, I don't remember her Earth name, Doctor something, Wheeler, Lawson, thank you. How did she get the Tesseract? That was my biggest question.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing. I looked it up. In 2012's Avengers, the facility that the Tesseract is in, Pegasus. Yes.
It's Pegasus. Yeah, I knew that.
That is Pegasus, which is obviously so she like it's not a direct through line, but like it's enough where I'm like, okay, Pegasus had the Tesseract. She worked for Pegasus. Good enough for me. Like that was fine.
Because so when Howard Stark digs it out of the ocean,
With the cat.
where does it go?
To
Wherever
Pegasus right away.
the government decides they want it to go.
Okay.
So it
So
could
if-
have gone
if-
straight to Pegasus.
So if
after
we're
that.
assuming then it went to Pegasus.
Well, when did he dig it out? Like,
When he was looking for Cap.
Yeah, like when he was.
oh,
still-
you're right. Okay, so he dug it out in like 40s, 50s, because that was
Right.
Dominic Cooper digging it out.
Yeah.
Yes,
And when did they find Cap?
like
that's-
2010, like
Yeah, they
right before
yeah,
Avengers.
they
So did they not find the Tesseract at that same time?
no.
They found the Tesseract way earlier,
Well, because the Tesseract
like decades earlier.
Earlier.
well, but they don't fall at the same. They fall thousands of miles apart. Because in the movie, when Cap is like flying and fighting Red Skull and everything, Red Skull gets sucked up,
Yeah,
and then
turns into Ross Marquand.
yes, but the Tesseract like cuts through the floor of the ship and falls
Okay.
in the ocean, and Cap keeps going and then dive bombs
For
in.
like
So
hundreds
they are
of miles. Yeah, they're
yeah,
very apart.
they're very far apart. It's not like they crashed in the same.
Yeah. So I figured that there was some kind of. I didn't think Tesseract initially. I knew there was some kind of Infinity Stone garbage. So
Completely surprised me.
So because as soon as like she started firing blue out of her fists, I'm like, there's Infinity War mumbo jumbo here somewhere. There's a stone here. I don't know which one, but there's a stone here. Is it power? So that was like another thing. I thought that maybe because I had recently rewatched Guardians, I thought it was maybe Power Stone. Like it wasn't Purple Blast, but like that had, that brings Ronan into it a little bit more. That brings the Kree into it. Maybe they're trying to make a connection there. I figured there was some kind of stone happening. I didn't think it was going to be the Tesseract. I'm glad that the Tesseract was MacGuffin again in another Marvel movie for like the 4th time in a row. But I'm fine with it being Tesseract. I knew there was going to be some kind of direct tie-in with the stone.
My biggest plot hole question thing is, so if Robert, if I were to say to you, hey, Marvel and Disney, and this is a week after Endgame comes out.
Sure.
So Endgame comes out, Captain Marvel makes it through the movie,
Sure.
and a week later, Disney announces Captain Marvel 2 flying into theaters 2020.
Higher, further, faster.
Higher, yeah. What do you see Captain Marvel 2 as?
Part of it depends on Endgame.
He makes it through Endgame, smiles, it ends, she's happy and living on Earth and is hanging out with the Avengers.
So does Captain Marvel 2 happen before Endgame? That's what I would want to see. Okay. I would want to see her. I would want to see her. Captain Marvel 2, I want to see like her going off to some unknown galaxy, some other random ass planet, way out in the middle of fuck knows where else. Like just random, brand new story, unconnected from everything else. It is her brand new story, and then maybe that movie ends with her getting the pager, something like that. It can't
be because of one line of dialogue, and it more like 3. But Ronan says we'll be back for the weapon.
Yeah, but he never comes back. He dies.
But
he doesn't come back for the Tesseract.
Why put that in there then?
Ronan is my biggest problem with this movie, actually.
Because he's useless.
Not just because he's useless. I feel like he was partially. So maybe not my biggest problem. I shouldn't say that. He's my biggest source of questions.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because like, okay, first off, I didn't even realize it was played by Lee Pace until the mid-credit scene. Until I texted Tim about it. I didn't realize it was Lee Pace as the actor. He looks so different. He looks like
it's because of the black.
I know it was different character design. I realized that after watching Guardians. But like, so why did Ronan start hating Xandar? What made him start working with Thanos? Like, he was a respected Kree military official. He was like a general. He was a high-ranking Kree military official. And by the time Guardians comes around, the Kree want nothing to do with him because he's a radical. How does he turn from like this military man into this fanatic? Yes, Maggie.
So they make a peace treaty. The Kree are like attacking a bunch of people, and the Kree and those people make a peace treaty. So the probably Nova right, the Nova Corps and the Kree make a peace treaty. He was like, no. He's like,
no, but he was murdering. The peace treaty was about Ronan. He was murdering Xandarians before the peace treaty was made. Yeah, 100%.
In general, the Kree got softer, and he didn't like that. I think that's what
this is all fantastic discussion of my Marvel backstory. Not what I'm concerned about, though. I'm concerned about like, are we ever going to see like? It's a big statement to say we'll be back, and the thought did cross my mind that he never does come back, and the only reason that line is in there is to say that a woman is a powerful weapon, and that it's just a movie saying that a woman's a powerful weapon and trying to make people go like that. 100% could be it, but I also feel like they wouldn't just do that.
So, but I mean,
and also not to mention that, but sorry, so if Ronan never did come back, like again, if Ronan says we'll be back for the weapon, when Ronan's attacking Xandar in Guardians of the Galaxy, where's Captain Marvel? Shouldn't she be there if she had like another conflict with Ronan before?
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was like, there's no way they're gonna make a movie where like she's fighting Ronan like in a prequel.
She wasn't there for Guardians, yeah.
Because we've already had a movie where he's the villain and he's not Loki. Like they're not going to do that again.
Yeah.
So I think.
Most people didn't like him. That's probably people's biggest complaint about Guardians 1 is that Lee Pace.
He's pretty boring.
He's just kind of nothing.
So I think that it really was more of like.
Oh, we got Ronan. We got Ronan, and women are powerful.
I'm saying that I think the line was more of like the woman, the powerful weapon thing, and he's actually going to be back because I think he has bigger things to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like as much as I would like to see like one cutscene of like how Ronan and Thanos like hooked up, like but like because Thanos gave Nebula and Gamora to Ronan. Like I would want to see because they threw Ronan into Captain Marvel. It just raises more questions about what happened to Ronan before Guardians.
No, I agree.
Maybe he told Thanos about her, and he was like.
And Thanos was like, "Oh, an Infinity Stone."
It's possible. No, like that's not a far off thing to say. Like there could be something in Endgame with Ronan. You have to remember the 3-hour fucking movie that we're gonna be getting. Like, let's be real. Like at the shortest, this movie is gonna be like 2:45.
Mm-hmm.
At the longest, it's gonna be 3 hours. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff packed into this thing.
I have one quick thing. Biggest, I think. Okay, do you think about Avengers Endgame? Do you think Howard the Duck makes an appearance?
Yes. I'm not even joking.
I broke Maggie. I knew I would break Maggie with that question.
Why?
I think it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm calling it. Yeah, and overall, Captain Marvel, good movie.
Liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Good. I like Phil Coulson.
Go see the movie for yourself and make your own opinion. Like, stop listening to people on the internet like us on the internet.
Unsubscribe.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But just form your own fucking opinion. It's great to do that. It's fantastic. As much as we might say, like, if you don't like this, you're dumb. Film is subjective. You don't have to like Marvel or Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Pirates of the Caribbean or Big Hero 6 or any other movie that I can think of off the top of my head. If your favorite movie is I don't know, The Bourne Legacy, good for you, man. You rock that movie. That is your movie to love. I like that movie, actually. But go see Captain Marvel because you think that it is a movie that you could see without really having an MCU knowledge.
Definitely.
Minus
Those are the best ones.
For sure. Especially if you plan on seeing Endgame, because obviously she's going to be important in that movie.
You both were talking at the same time. That's why they'll do well at the box office. What did you say?
I was going to say, obviously she'll be an important part of Endgame, so if you plan on seeing that movie, like, you should probably see Captain Marvel.
Well, and the marketing tactic of putting this out, of people being like, I don't want to see it. I don't know. It looks kind of dumb. I've heard mixed things. Then they see this trailer and they go, oh, she's in the trailer. I should go see the movie. Like, it's genius.
They did that to me.
They know what they're doing.
They did that with Winter Soldier?
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You just want to go see Winter Soldier?
No, like, it just wasn't a priority. But then the thing happened.
I saw Winter Soldier 5 times opening weekend.
Calm down. It just wasn't a priority. But then the thing happened on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're like, here's a sneak peek. And they're like, next week it's going to be completely different because of what happens. Yeah, I know it was. Because of what happens in Winter Soldier. I was like, gotta go see Winter Soldier.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's exactly what Robert was there.
I did. I saw it with the opening weekend. Yeah.
The movie's amazing. Okay. Fun talk. We'll be back to talk about all things Avengers. Probably, maybe, like, I don't know. We kind of did our, like, thoughts of what's going to happen in the movie in this episode. But we'll definitely do a spoiler-filled holy shit edition of Tim and Maggie Talk Movies when the movie is actually out. In the meantime, we'll be around here reviewing movies. Got a review for Wonder Park.
Oof.
I'm not in it. I just watched him do it, and it was really funny.
We got a review for Wonder Park coming up here pretty quick. I filmed it today. It's going to be coming out sometime today or tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that, as well as a bunch of other fun stuff. We've got a video or a new episode of Tim and Maggie Talk Movies in the works, remakes versus originals, sequels, whatnot, in honor of the
Ghostbusters 2016. Oh,
what?
Ghostbusters 2016. Sorry.
Oh, look at you go! In honor of Dumbo coming out, which I've heard is
what? You were just telling me that people were saying it was good.
So
I thought we were gonna form our own opinions and not listen to the internet.
I'm just saying I heard it was. I'm still gonna see the movie.
I'm very excited, so I won't let any of you bring me down.
Okay. So anyway, Robert, you got anything to plug as we head our way out here?
Let's see. Well, you can follow me personally on Twitter and Letterboxd at RBRTPRKR98. That is my first and last name, no vowels plus ear. And if you don't already watch Trivia Leagues on the YouTubes, you can find me being a trivia champion at Multiplex Entertainment and Full Metal Trivia.
Yeah, and you can find me here at Tim Loves Movies and all the Tim Loves Movies things, and you can find Maggie here as well, I think. Anywhere else, Maggie, you want the people to find you?
At Maymay24 on Twitter.
I'm not open Twitter anymore. I closed my Twitter.
All of our Twitter and Letterboxd are in the description, but you can find me and Robert going after that team title.
Yeah, that'll be posted in like next month.
Yeah, Jesus. So it's not like we already know what happens, but you can see us going after that team championship. We're gonna pry it from Caleb Coho's cold, dead hands if I have to.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to add that in my plugs. If you have any death threats, like about our opinions here today, or just like in general, you can send them to Caleb Coho on Twitter. That's at KALEBKOHO. You can send them right over there.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Well, this has been a lovely episode of Tim and Maggie Talk Movies. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Be sure to hit that like button and hit subscribe. It helps me out a great deal. It helps you stay up to date with all of my latest content. And again, if you have anything crazy you want to say in the comments, go ahead and do that. But until next time, guys, thanks as always for watching. Have a good one.